Budget amendment for the Franklin Fire Department, Madam Manager and Chief Breedlove.
Commissioner and Council, I'm going to ask Chief Breedlove to come up. Kind of want to show you, I'm going to turn this request over to him, but he's brought, I believe, you got both radios? He's going to show you what we currently have, and then also what we're looking at, we're going to have to upgrade to. So I'm going to let him give you an overview, and then we'll entertain any questions about financing.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Council. What I have proposed to Madam Manager is the allowance to buy new radio equipment. As you all know, we provide services in the town limits and as well as in Macon County. To operate within Macon County, we all operate on the same radio system as other fire departments. The county is making their way to what we call the Viper system, which is a state-owned system. Viper system was initially designed or built post 9/11. And the reason for that, its primary function was to allow interoperability between different agencies and different emergency responders. Roughly today, we have 50 counties in North Carolina that are using the Viper as their primary communication source. Viper system is still being built, however. Each year, the state allows a portion of budget to build new coverage areas and new towers. So basically, Macon County has reserved some spots in that. They bought equipment. Macon County was gracious enough to allot us a certain allotment of equipment. We bought 25 portables, which is these radios that we carry with us. And then we've also bought a mobile radio for each apparatus in each fire truck that we have. So you may ask, what do we need, or what am I asking for? Basically, I have 7 paid staff, 10 part-time staff, and at least 25 volunteers as of tonight. So each one of us can't walk away with one of these 4 radios as we sit right now. The cost of one of these new radios is $2,200 to get it out the door and ready to talk. That includes the cost of the radio and a license to be operating on that system. Like I said, what's the gain? This old radio, as you look at them, there's not much difference. Same company makes them. They're different bands. The Viper system allows me to sit in Franklin, North Carolina and talk all the way to the state end, the coast, far end of North Carolina. I can select statewide fire and talk to any county that's using this system. They can do the same for me. They can select up and talk to me if they're coming to me mutual aid. With this system, we couldn't do that. With the Viper system, it also is smart enough. It's what I call a smart radio. It's a digital format radio, and it takes the human error out of finding the right service area. So it'll basically do that for me. When you turn that on, it searches for the system, and it'll place where the strongest signal is, and takes my part out of that. As in the old system, I had to select my tower and my service point. And the system is really a blessing to the fire department. I think it's going to be the best option for our future and for the public safety as a whole. So I think it's really important for the firefighters each to have a radio. As many of you might understand, that's kind of a lifeline that we rely on. Anyone that's going to be in harm's way, I like to give them a radio so that they can talk to each other, they can hear the communication side, and they can make requests for emergency assistance if needed. So that's my request to you tonight. It's a life and safety issue, and that's why I thought it was important enough to ask for the funds. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yeah, I do. You talk about interoperability. Do any of the other counties around us have this?
There is some working on this.
Are there any other counties that have this?
I don't know.
Surrounding us?
The surrounding actually touching us? No,
Yes.
sir. Swanee County is in the operation of buying their license.
Chief, I guess, what is your total cost that we're gonna have to come up with to get these 20 radios? 20 or 25?
It was a little over 15,000.
15,000, okay.
Sir.
Did we have any say-so in the county going to the Viper system?
All the fire departments met as a fire commission, so to speak, and had the opportunity to voice input from each department. And it was taken as a Macon County collective vote throughout the departments.
Did the county pay for all the other fire departments to fully have
They
the radios?
divided funds to each department have a allotment of equal value. Yes, sir.
But that included us?
Yes, sir.
But they did not include the individual firemen having a portable?
They give us the matched funds of each department. So basically what we got was a specific fund, and we allotted it to what our needs were. I was able to buy the 25 portables, the 9 mobile radios, and then also a vehicle computer to go into one of the fire apparatus.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I had a little bit of experience with this in a former job. Just so for clarification, the Viper system was an outgrowth of the 9/11 attack, because you had all these emergency services on different frequencies, and they couldn't coordinate with each other. They had their own frequency for this department and that department and so forth. And I'm sure the chief could tell you that when you have everybody on a different frequency and a different radio band, and you're trying to coordinate response to a particular emergency, it's almost impossible. So I think the state has been pushing to go to a Viper system, and I think, and it's correct me, is it the UHF or VHF?
Macon County in the past has had been operating on both. The fire side and law enforcement side operated on the UHF, and the EMS side operated on the VHF. Now moving into the Viper system, it's only 700-800 megahertz, which is...
Well, it's a benefit to coordinate everything, and it is very, very expensive, I know. The only other question that I would ask, and it's similar to what the mayor said, as far as the county goes, what services, emergency services, communication services in the county are now operating the Viper system? I guess that's what I'm looking at.
All of Macon County EMS has switched to it. All of Macon County Sheriff's Office has switched to it. And now the majority of Macon County Fire has got it at least somewhat using and partially switched that. I expect within the next month, all of them will be totally as their primary system on Viper.
FPD's already on there too, aren't they?
Franklin Police Department is operating off of a certain extent of that. Yes, sir. That's their main, but they do have a backup system in place.
How much longer is the county going to run this analog stuff?
I think this is the first steps away from that. Of course, the Viper is a digital system, it's a trunking system, and the analog just gets so much on it that it eventually is going to be no good to us. It gets overwhelmed, and unfortunately, when you're competing with other areas close to you, you get a lot of lead over in a lot of other agencies, and you're competing for the space. We've already done an air banding, and I don't know if you're familiar with what that is, but you narrow down your frequency range. And they've basically done every effort they can on that system.
How long ago was it? The forest fires we had.
2016.
Can you talk about radio communication when we're basically dealing with every public safety agency in the county? How this would have made that a lot easier?
It would have. We had everything from local to state to federal agencies in during that time. During those months, we relied on multiple systems for communication, but to have this system in place would have been a real benefit to us. You know, having the mutual aid come to you and say, you know, we're out to you, you talk to each other, know what apparatus they're bringing, what supplies they're bringing for the coordination of command and action plans have been a great benefit.
Well, tell me if I'm wrong too, we have some, not even countywide, but y'all have some deal where we need to bring in an expert crew from down east or something. If they've got Viper radios, all they do is basically just punch into our system and they're in there like they just like y'all, correct?
That's correct.
Yes, Joe.
Practically speaking, do we have a choice to either stay with the Viper and keep going with the Viper or going back to the Motorola days?
We have both systems currently available to us in limited capacity of the Viper, but our old system we're not taking offline just because it's already there, and I want it for backup purposes if the Viper was to ever fail us. But however, like I say, my intention is following in suit with the communications around me as a whole and doing the safest options with other departments' communication all on Viper. I feel that I have to do that to be safe.
So
Go ahead, no, go ahead, sir.
there was an allotment of sorts, resources spread around. Just because our department's larger, we really couldn't spread the resources far enough, and we've got some limitations. Is that what some holes you're trying to fill in?
Yes, sir. Basically, each department was given an allotment and a list of equipment that they could buy with those funds. So I chose to get the most portable radios that I could with still allowing myself to put a radio in my apparatus. So I got the most portables that I could, along with putting the radio system in my apparatus. That leaves me about 10 short.
Just one more question, I'll stop. You're asking for this year, not for next budget year.
That's correct.
In the summer, where is the money coming from?
So the money, the budget amendment you have before you would be, when you take the tax portion out, the budget amendment would be for $14,166, and we're asking to take this from the fire department's fund balance. From the fire fund balance.
Healthy, unhealthy?
Very healthy.
I have one question as well.
Okay.
It looks to me like a large part of this expense is the licenses. So I don't know how long the life expectancy is on a radio, but like let's say that radio in your hand dies, you just buy a new radio and your license stays good indefinitely?
That's correct.
Okay. So replacing radios wouldn't be this expensive. You'd have the equipment charged, licenses are paid for forever.
I can buy both of these radios for about $700 a piece. The radio is not the actual expensive cost. To get on the Viper system, I have to have a license or a key to go to make it work, basically. Once I purchase that, it will transfer from another radio. All I've got to do is call the state and say, this is the ID, this is the number, this is their purchase. And
Indefinitely it lasts? There's a 10-year license?
right now, there's no term on it. There's no 10-year license. It's they are doing what they call phase 2, but this amount that's been disclosed tonight and talked about would cover that, and that's to happen 2 years from now. But the amount that we're talking will cover that.
I guess you might say that you're dealing with an old signal corps guy right here. And the Army tried unsuccessfully to have what is basically the Viper system for interoperability. It became so complicated and so cumbersome, I think they finally gave it up. It sounded great. We still have people using Channel 2 and Channel 4, which also had simplex as well as duplex on VHF. Now we have a wonderful UH system, and we're going to abandon it when people are still using old Channel 2 and 4, which was put in by the LEAA grants back in about 1970. When it comes to radio, wattage is what's important. Every repeater is a weak link, and I would just have to tell you, I would be okay with you buying these new ones, but I would not abandon what you've got now either.
I agree, sir. I'm not looking to abandon what we've got. We do have a fair system in place, but it is getting aged. And due with the interoperability of emergency services, I think it's the right thing to do to join the Viper and make it safer for the public safety workers. However, I do agree that I'm only going to be able to place them in our apparatus and leave all the firemen with their old system just for a backup system.
Yes, sir. Mr. Lewis?
You've already outfitted your trucks, right?
Yes, sir, I've already got it scheduled for them to install
And if I'm
because they're
not
not
mistaken,
currently
that costs
in
more
place.
than the portables, right?
Yes, they do.
So we've already taken care of the, okay.
Yes, I have.
But you've got both the UHF and the Viper system in each truck.
I will have. Yes, sir.
Don't do away with them yet.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am?
Can I ask a question?
Very briefly, yes, ma'am.
This 4G, 5G, what's going to happen whenever the country switch over to 5G?
Oh,
Will they
this-
still work?
That's an entirely different
It's an
situation.
entirely different system and situation, but
Yeah.
yes.
It will, okay.
Similarities, they're both radio, but that's it. Okay, what's the pleasure of the board? Any further questions? Madam Manager, can we accommodate this money-wise?
You certainly can within the budget amendment that's presented.
Well, I will ask the board to vote for it, but Chief, don't get rid of your old system. This thing is not proven. It really isn't.
I agree with you. I think the old system should be in place and
We know it.
that's my intention.
We know it. Yes, Mr. McCray, you had a question?
No, I was going to make a motion.
Okay, make the motion.
I move that we take the money from the reserve fund and buy these radios.
You second it, Mr. Lewis. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Board. I appreciate it.